Registered has a whole different connotation. Anyway, I'm glad to see that at least 4 of you are registered. We have a 97% compliance rate in Caddo Parish, and I'm real proud of that as far as registered sex offenders go. And we'll talk about some of that. What I want to do this morning or this afternoon, I wanted to go over, I've got so many accomplishments for the Sheriff's Office and numbers and lists and things. Most of them I think you'll find very interesting and not boring at all. But I wanted to go over some of these quickly, and then I want to have plenty of time for questions and complaints and also suggestions, because we are your Sheriff's Office if you live in Caddo Parish, and now you're in Caddo Parish, so we are your Sheriff's Office here. So I wanted just to go over a few things, and I don't think you're going to know all of these, but we'll see. Our prisoners collect 56 tons of trash every year off of the highways in the city and in the parish. We feed over 1 million meals at CCC to prisoners, and we've got the meals down to 92 cents a piece now. That's not a very good meal. I had a lady call me, we'll go over this list, I keep thinking of things. I had a lady call me and she was complaining because she said, y'all are serving green bologna at CCC, and so I called her back, and I always try to call everybody back that calls me. And so I got off the phone and said, I'll get back with you. And I called the jail commander, and he got the jail staff, and it's a big deal. And so the sheriff's asking a question, so everybody says, so the commander called me back, and he said, Sheriff, we don't serve green bologna, but it does have a little sheen to it. And, anyway, we got the meals down to where it's 92 cents. I mean, they got to be a certain caloric. The state requires them to be have so many calories, and so they are healthy, but they're nothing that you would like to go to jail for. And if they want salt and pepper, we charge them extra, and that cut out the fact that we don't have to serve healthy meals on doctor's orders anymore, because we went ahead and cut the salt out of everything anyway. And so that's a good thing. If they want salt, they can buy that, and that's good. We cut the cheese. We cut a piece of cheese off each sandwich, and that saved you taxpayers $17,000 a year by cutting a piece of cheese off the bologna sandwich. Well, let's go on. We have the jail's built for 1,070, and we have today about 1,380 in it, which presents a real problem for the Sheriff's Office and the Caddo Parish Commission, who funds not the operation of the facility, but funds the facility. We have about 800 employees with the Caddo Sheriff's Office. Our budget is $60 million. We collect about $210 million worth of property taxes each year. And I always like to throw this out there because everybody needs to know where your property tax money goes. The Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office, for collecting it, and what we do with it, we get to keep 9.5%. So whatever your tax money is, we get 9.5%. The rest goes to the other entities, like the school board, the commission, the Red River Waterway, the libraries, and the other things that government funds. But we don't get to keep it all. First thing I did as sheriff was take my name off the tax letter that you get. It just says Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office. It doesn't say my name. So that's the part I don't like about it. In fact, when I go to church, my preacher usually talks about the evil tax collector that even Jesus hung around. I try to keep away from that tax collector end of it. But I got to do it by law, so y'all know that. And the prisoners save the citizens of Caddo Parish about $125,000 a year. I mean a month, $125,000 a month. That's at minimum wage. That's for fixing tires at Fleet Services, for the commission, working at the dog pound, picking up trash, fixing these million meals a year. They do a lot of work there, doing the laundry, and so many other things. So we get that much work out of it. Some of the things that we've done, and I've got 4 pages of these, so why don't we do this? When you think of a question when I get to something, why don't you raise your hand and we'll chase that rabbit for a while, and then we'll come back to the list if you want. But so many of these I'm so proud of. When I started preparing my remarks, I couldn't quit writing down the things we had done, first in the state, and first of this and that, and so I'm real proud of it. One thing we get a lot of talk about, I won't say credit, but the Special Investigation Section, or the Corruption Unit. We've got 2 guys that do nothing but look at public corruption. and I think that's necessary. It causes some tense elevator rides sometimes, but you know, that's part of what our job is to look at public corruption. So if you ever have anything that you think somebody's doing something wrong, we'll look into it, because that's what I get paid for. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to stay away from things that are uncomfortable. I'm supposed to go towards things that are uncomfortable. And we don't mind doing that. We have a good working relationship with all aspects of government. But we have a very good governmental system up here. We have a traffic safety unit. Instead of like just about every sheriff's office I know of in Louisiana, the Louisiana State Police work all the wrecks for the outside the cities. In Caddo Parish, we work all our own wrecks. The sheriff's office doesn't do anything but come in and write tickets. The state police doesn't come anything but come in and write tickets. We have a traffic safety unit I'm very proud of. They have to go through 320 hours of training each one, but sometimes the state police will come to us and ask questions about major wrecks and fatalities in other parishes. We have a marine unit. We're the only ones that full-time are on the Red River, and we've got some really neat-looking boats that work very, very well in the wintertime. In the summer, we got those with some grant money that we're able to find. We have some task forces that we're on, the Narcotics Task Force and the Financial Crimes Task Force. Those are both with the city of Shreveport. When I was the police chief, I always wanted to do more with the sheriff's office. And the sheriff at that time, a great man, Don Hathaway, but he didn't like that idea. He thought they should be more separate. Well, as soon as I got to be the sheriff, then I was able to get with the city police, and now our narcotics units are all sworn in. In other words, the city of Shreveport, sometimes they'll be in Vivian running a search warrant, and we'll be on Looney Street running a search warrant, or somewhere in Caddo Heights running a search warrant. So we all work together. They report to the same place every day and work for the same supervisors. The same thing with financial crimes and identity theft. We have 7 detectives that are sworn in, and they can work anywhere in the whole parish. And it's been very productive. And I think that we ought to, I'm not interested in taking over the city police department. I don't mean that. But I think that we have too much duplication of effort. It costs money. Just look at narcotics, for instance. When we were having to buy night vision eyewear and surveillance vans that cost $150,000 to $200,000 a piece, when you were having to buy one for the parish and one for the city, you can see the duplication. Now we can just have one and everybody uses it. And so we've saved a lot of money, and we're a lot more efficient and effective by doing that. We have a mounted patrol unit, and we have 25 mostly volunteers on our mounted patrol unit. They pay for their own horses, their own feed, but their horses have to be trained just like a regular mounted patrol horse. We were the first in the state to start school violence drills and also church safety drills. We came up with the lesson plan. We sent all of our officers and deputies through it, and now they go all around the state, and the Attorney General's office blessed both plans and adopted them, and now they're trained in those all across the state. We have a work release center that we opened up. We have 125 in the work release center. Some of you probably take advantage of some of the prisoners that are in that. It's really a neat program. We started it several years ago. We first came up with the money to buy the property after we had to hold prisoners from the hurricanes. We held New Orleans prisoners, and the state of Louisiana paid us $300,000, and so we bought 10 acres of land with that. And then we started the work release program out of the current jail, and as soon as we had enough money to build the building, we built the building. And now we have 125 people in the work release plan, and it's a pretty good program. If you're not familiar with it, we'll bring the prisoners to you. They're in their last portion before they get out of jail. They're nonviolent. They'll be drug-free, alcohol-free. They'll be clean in a uniform. They'll have their lunch with them. We'll bring them to you. They'll work all day. We'll come back and pick them up. And then when they get paid, we'll take half their money. So that's good for the citizens of Caddo Parish, because then that's kind of what we get our part for having set the program up and for keeping them. And also the child, any kind of welfare or child payments, what am I thinking of? Child support payments. That comes out first, as does any restitution. So that's been a very good program. We were the first in the state to have a reentry program. The state of Louisiana is building a building right now. We'll be moving into it within a couple of weeks. They're building the building, and for us, and is to get prisoners that are about to be released, they have to go through 90 hours of training. Some of this has to do with getting